Hey everyone, it's Political Discourse. Welcome to my channel solely focused on exposing the hypocrisy of the left. Okay, so in this moment, Kamala Harris has like a last-ditch effort to go on Fox News for her last Hail Mary, and let's just say she's never been on Fox News ever before. So if her going on Fox News just kind of shows how down bad her and her political party are, to where she has to go on Fox News just to try to do a last-ditch Hail Mary effort to gain some people on the right side and the conservative side to her side. But as you can see in this interview, it didn't really go according to plan. I mean, it's a whole fiasco and disaster, and I have no idea what Kamala was thinking going into this interview. She just destroys her campaign even more. Let me know what you guys think and check out these clips.
Talked about locking people up because they disagree with him. This is a democracy. And in a democracy, the President of the United States, in the United States of America, should be willing to be able to handle criticism without saying he'd lock people up for doing it.
Kamala Harris basically lost it. Although saying that kind of implies that this was authentic. This was not authentic. That was acting. You can tell how disingenuous she is. Basically, what I read there was Donald Trump is literally Hitler. She's about to burst a blood vessel in her forehead. Donald Trump said that he would jail people that he disagrees with. No, he didn't, you absolute loon, you absolute partisan goon. That's never happened. Has Donald Trump called for investigations into people who were involved in subverting democracy and these phony impeachment attempts? Illegal FISA warrants, colluding with foreign spies to fabricate a story in an effort to impeach a sitting president, or, Democrats over the last, let's call it a year and a half, conspiring to throw him in prison on bogus political charges. Yeah, not exactly the same thing. And oh, the irony, this coming from the Democrat Party, the party that's literally trying to jail their political opponents. Donald Trump and his orbit, not to mention their views on free speech. These are the people who believe certain speech should be criminal, and that government agencies should be policing speech online. It's unfreaking believable, and most importantly, it's unhinged. And I think most people can see that, and honestly, I think Bret Baier actually did a good job exposing her with the perfect question. It's actually a question I ask all the time.
Why, if he's as bad as you say, that half of this country is now supporting this person who could be the 47th president of the United States, why is that happening?
This is an election for President of the United States. It's not supposed to be easy.
I know, but
it's not supposed to be. It is not supposed to be a cakewalk for anyone.
So are they misguided, the 50%?
Listen,
are they stupid? What is it?
I would never say that about the American people. And in fact, if you listen to Donald Trump, if you watch any of his rallies, he's the one who tends to demean and belittle and diminish the American people. He's the one who talks about an enemy within, an enemy within, talking about the American people, suggesting he would turn the American military on the American people.
If Donald Trump is this crazy, psycho, Hitlerian guy, why does half the country support him? Are they stupid? Are they crazy? Are you saying that half the country is supporting a Hitlerian figure and they're just a bunch of fascists? Oh, no, I would never say that. Only Donald Trump says stuff like that. What a complete fool. This is complete campaign implosion. Donald Trump every 2 seconds. There was also this brilliant moment.
A number of experts thought you would say China. The FBI director had said that. But you said Iran. If that's the case, what do you say to critics who look at the actions of your administration and say you're not acting like Iran is the number one threat?
Well, I will tell you most recently, whether it was in April or in October, and then several hours on each occasion that Iran posed a threat to Israel, I was there. Most recently in the Situation Room, in the most recent attack, working with the heads of our military and doing what America must always do.
Critics just say that you either relaxed or failed to enforce sanctions on Iran, allowing all of this money to flow into Iran, like billions.
Let's go back to Donald Trump, who pulled out of a deal that would have actually put Iran in check.
The estimates in billions.
It was during Donald Trump's administration that Iran
regime.
That we had an American military base that was attacked, where American soldiers suffered traumatic brain injuries, and Donald Trump dismissed them as headaches, not to mention
Madam
how
Vice
Donald
President,
Trump has,
all of this money
has treated
that
and
has
talked
gone
about
in the
America's
past few
military
years,
and military service people,
critics
calling
say
them
that it goes to
suckers and
Hezbollah,
losers,
Hamas,
has diminished
and
the
Houthis.
significance.
We're talking over each other. I apologize.
I would like that we would have a conversation that is grounded in full assessment of the facts, which includes, I think this interview is supposed to be about the choices that your viewers should be presented about this election, and the contrast is important.
Yes, ma'am.
And on the subject of Iran, I am offering what should be an important contrast that is presented for folks to make a decision.
It's obvious she has absolutely no idea what she's talking about, and then she's going on about Donald Trump pulling out of a deal that was beneficial to Iran? What is she talking about? This coming from the Democrats who released untold billions to Iran. The moment Donald Trump left office, they basically rolled out the red carpet for the Iranian regime. And the graphic completely exposed her. As she was speaking, they kept popping this up, showing just how much more money Iran was taking in the moment they got into power. It's not just the money that they released to the regime, but also their idiotic energy policies and the war in Ukraine that they started, which led to Iran making billions upon billions of dollars. America producing less energy, the Saudis purposely cutting their production to create more scarcity, countries putting sanctions on Russian oil, and of course countries refusing to take Russian oil imports. Who do you think that benefited? Holy frickin' moly, unbelievable. Donald Trump every 2 seconds. That was strategy number 1, and strategy number 2 was simply just not answering the question at all.
Joe Biden is not on the ballot.
I understand.
And Donald Trump
but
is.
You talked about it.
And Donald Trump
After
is.
George Clooney said within a few minutes of talking to President Biden at a fundraiser that he thought this was not the same Joe Biden that we saw on the debate stage.
Donald Trump is on the ballot.
I understand. You met with him at least once a week for 3.5 years. You didn't have any concerns?
I think the American people have a concern about Donald Trump.
Looking back, do you regret the decision to terminate Remain in Mexico at the beginning of your administration?
At the beginning of our administration, within practically hours of taking the oath, the first bill that we offered Congress, before we worked on infrastructure, before the Inflation Reduction Act, before the CHIPS and Science Act, before the bipartisan Safer Communities Act, the first bill, practically within hours of taking the oath.
How many illegal immigrants would you estimate your administration has released into the country over the last 3.5 years?
Well, I'm glad you raised the issue of immigration, because I agree with you. It is a topic of discussion that people want to rightly have. And you know what I'm going to talk about.
Yeah, but just a number. Do you think it's 1 million, 3 million?
Brett, let's just get to the point. Okay, the point is that we have a broken immigration system that needs to be repaired.
The Democratic Party has to be so down bad and just ringing alarm bells, because to put Kamala Harris on Fox News in front of Brett, I have no idea what they were thinking. This whole interview was just a shit show, and how she answers her questions just goes to show that she is not ready to be the president of the United States. She's not ready to take over the country, and this just goes to show it. She can't even properly answer any questions without veering off, give a proper statement. This is just a whole shit show, and it's honestly crazy that they thought this was a great idea to send her on Fox News for her first ever interview. Holy shit.